Happy Halloween, YouTubers! This is Erica, the WWF WCW Diva Straight Web 1985 channel. Today is my series premiere and debut episode of my new titled series, The Wrestling Rivalries. And this episode I'm going to be doing is that you, the fans, have voted the most. The rivalry between The Undertaker and Kane. Let's get started. And the origin and monologue of the rivalry of The Undertaker versus Kane. While Paul Bearer is in excruciating pain after the fire attack that burned his face, he tells a devastating story about The Undertaker's dark and evil past. A painful revelation. It is dead, man, and remember that dark and drizzled night at 10 p.m. at the night someone had burned a funeral home that killed the parents of The Undertaker and Kane's parents. But it was The Undertaker who killed his parents. Because when Kane and he were little boys, they were playing with matches. And The Undertaker says that the funeral home is flammable. And then Paul Bearer said those devastating words to The Undertaker. The Undertaker killed his parents. You are a murderer. A goddamn murderer. And then a week later on the episode of Raw, The Undertaker viciously beats the hell out of the Paul Bearer. And then Paul Bearer revealed a startling revelation. That Kane is alive. Kane is alive. I swear it's the truth. And then Paul Bearer says, Kane is coming. Kane is coming. And how the legendary rivalry between The Undertaker and Kane begins. Kane and The Undertaker on October 5th, 1997, when Kane made his devastating debut into the WWF on the WWF's pay-per-view In Your House Bad Blood, where Kane is managed by Paul Bearer. And while The Undertaker was battling against a bloody Shawn Michaels at the time during a steel cage match, Kane viciously ripped out the door of the steel cage and delivered a vicious and devastating tombstone pile driver on The Undertaker. Thus, the bloody Shawn Michaels gets the victory. On a Royal Rumble 1998, Kane had burned The Undertaker while The Undertaker was inside of the casket. And this feud was far, far from over. And in WrestleMania 14, the first rivalry match, The Undertaker versus Kane, in a barbaric and epic and epitome greatest rivalries in wrestling history. Kane throws The Undertaker to the WWF announce table, but The Undertaker gives Kane a vicious chokeslam to Kane and finished him with not one, not two, but 3 devastating tombstone power drivers to get the win. Plus, during that match, Paul Bearer said to The Undertaker, "Damn you, dead man. Damn you to hell twice." And when the match is over, Paul Bearer viciously beats up the fatigued and tired Undertaker. Then Undertaker sickly punched Paul Bearer. Then Kane gets the steel chair and hits The Undertaker and to the spine and delivered a devastating tombstone piledriver the Undertaker through the steel chair. On the episode, the April 6, 1998 episode of Monday Night Raw, it was a devastating, sad episode where Kane burns the graves of the Undertaker's parents. And the expression of the Undertaker's face was devastating, sad, and full of regret. And then on the Raw April 20th, 1998 episode, Kane burned down the dead man's dad's casket again. And to make matters worse, as an assault to injury, Kane viciously chokeslammed the Undertaker through his mom's casket, thus destroying it. It was a very disturbing and terrible scene. The second rivalry match between The Undertaker and Kane is in the WWF Unforgiven pay-per-view on April 26, 1998, in one of the barbaric and grueling matches, the Inferno matches. During the match, Vader attacks Kane, and while Kane and Vader beating the crap out of each other, The Undertaker airbornes through the ring of fire and splashes through Kane and Undertaker. That was an amazing maneuver. And then Paul Bearer hits The Undertaker with the steel chair. Then The Undertaker used the same steel chair and hits Kane in the head and back. And at the end of this grueling match, Kane got the steel chair and hit The Undertaker. But then The Undertaker dodged and kicked Kane through the ring of fire. Thus, Kane's arm was on fire. And The Undertaker gets the win of the intense Inferno match. On June 1st, 1998, the third rivalry match between The Undertaker and Kane. This time is for the #1 contendership for the WWF title to face Stone Cold Steve Austin in WWF King of the Ring pay-per-view. Kane delivered the Tombstone Piledriver on Undertaker. Thus, Kane gets the victor. And on October 18th, 4 months later, on WWF Judgment Day, this time Stone Cold Steve Austin is the referee of another rivalry match between Kane and The Undertaker. The Undertaker delivered a Tombstone Piledriver on Kane. Then Stone Cold Steve Austin and then the rattlesnake gave The Undertaker the Stone Cold Stunner, and plus a chair shot to the head. And Stone Cold Steve Austin count both men out and says the winner is Stone Cold Steve Austin. A laugh out loud moment. The fifth rivalry match is on the next day, October 19, 1998. This time, it's a casket match, but the Brothers of Destruction have viciously decimated and destroyed the casket. And the brawl had ended on rep, but there was no winner because of the casket has been destroyed. The sixth rivalry match is the WWF Survivor Series Deadly Game pay-per-view on November 15th, 1998. The Undertaker kicks and punches Kane, and then Kane bounced back with a devastating clothesline, and Kane gives the chokeslam to the dead man, and thus the dead man bounced back and delivered a Tombstone Piledriver on Kane with the help of Paul Bearer holding Kane's leg. Then the Undertaker gets the win. 3 months later, on February 2nd, 1999. The 7th rivalry match is another Infernal match. This time a hellacious and barbaric match. The Undertaker uses a piece of the WWF announce table and hits Kane on the head. And at the end of the match, Kane's right leg is on fire, thus the Undertaker winning the match. It then a year later, on August 27th, 2000, the SummerSlam. In this match, this is the unmasking of Kane. And we see that Kane was in a bloody crimson mess after that. The Undertaker in his American badass persona at that time. Plus, the Undertaker gives Kane a devastating low blow and unmasks Kane. Their 9th rivalry match was on Raw, November 27, 2000. While the Undertaker was taking care of business, finishing Kane off, there comes Kurt Angle, Edge, and Christian beating the hell out of the Undertaker. 3 years later, the Undertaker versus Kane, this time in a WrestleMania 20 match on March 19, 2004, where the dead man chokeslams Kane. And then thus he won the match. And then 4 years later, on April 4th, 2008, the 11th rivalry match, the Brothers in Arms fell against for the championship, but Edge and his goons interfered and attacked the Brothers. But Kane and Undertaker beats up Edge and his goons and deliver a vicious tombstone powerdriver on Chavo Guerrero and Edge. Their 12th rivalry match was at the Clash of Champions, September 19, 2010. Kane gets victorious and still retains the title. The 13th rivalry match is in a Hell in a Cell match, October 3rd, 2010. In Iceland Cape, Paul Bearer Revenge. While Paul blinds the Undertaker by the light of the urn, a bizarre twist that gave Kane the opportunity to finish the Undertaker off to retain the World Heavyweight Championship belt. Their 14th and their final rivalry match is on Bragging Rights, October 24th, 2010. Buried Alive match, where the Undertaker is about to finish Kane and bury Paul Bearer 6 feet deep. The Nexus beats him viciously, and Kane used the urn to knock the Undertaker 6 feet deep, burying the dead man. Thus, Kane remains as heavyweight championship. I say this to all the fans nationwide and worldwide. Paul Bearer played an important role in the history of creating the rivalry between Kane and The Undertaker. The storyline was intense. It was real, epic, badass in more ways than one. And this rivalry between The Undertaker and Kane, thousands, trillions of people going to be discussing the legacy of the Undertaker and Kane rivalry for generations and generations to come. And that's it on the very first episode of the Wrestling Rivalries. Click, like, and subscribe to my channel, WWF WCW Diva Straight Web 1985 channel, and subscribe to my second channel, WWF WCW Fashionistas 1985. Peace and happy Halloween!